Welcome back to the Michigan International Speedway. Just about time to get this thing underway. 2-mile super speedway that is ultra fast. Let's take a look at our Camping World track description.
You've got 18 degrees of banking in the corners, and Phil, you and I both raced here before. Driving down toward those corners at over 190 miles an hour, they look relatively flat.
They are flat, and they're a pretty sharp turn to the left, too, but it's amazing with this new pavement how fast this racetrack is and stays.
This will be interesting, too. We talked earlier about the strategy, staying off pit road as much as you can. You got to get gas with about 40 to go, so you know you're going to make it to the end, and that could very well be their last pit stop.
Without a doubt.
This track was repaved prior to the 2012 season, and it is lightning quick. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup.
How about all Brad Keselowski front row, Ryan Blaney on the inside, and Joey Logano on the outside? Why don't we talk to Joey Logano?
Heck yeah.
Hey, Joey Logano, Phil Parsons up in the Fox Sports 1 booth. You got a copy?
Sir, I got you.
That was an awesome job in that second round of qualifying. That was, I don't know if you knew this or not, but that was the fastest lap in the history qualifying for the Camping World Truck Series.
Well, that didn't give me anything. Still second, but Blaney did a good job getting out there in time and making sure they got their lap in there. So pretty cool BKRs up here, 1-2 to start this thing. Hopefully finish this way.
Joe, we talk about this race being a compromise, whether you have the straightaway speed and trim that thing out, or you're able to drive through the corners the entire race long. Where are you guys with your setup?
We're definitely on the handling front. We're not going to have much straightaway speed at all. We kind of went both directions in practice and felt like instead of being mediocre at two things, let's be good at one thing and really bad at something else. So we got the handling part figured out. So I think we'll be good on restarts. I think in the long run stuff, it's going to be everything we can do to hold people off. So hopefully it's a late race restart.
All right, buddy. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck today.
10-4. Thanks, guys.
Let's take a look at our onboards. Go ahead, Phil Parsons.
We're going to ride along with our four-time champion, Ron Hornaday. He's driving the Ream Chevy, and he will start from back in the 17th spot.
My theme for the onboards is life is good. Kyle Busch in the Toyota Care Toyota is going for his 6th straight win as a driver and his 9th of 12 in the series as an owner. Life is good for Kyle Busch.
We're also going to ride along with Armand Caroca. He's 6th in points right now in his net 10 wireless Toyota, and he will start from the top 10 and 10th.
Ryan Blaney starting on the pole in his Cooper Standard career for Veterans Ford. He's our point leader. Life's good there. He's our pole sitter. He's got a new cup ride. A lot of things going well for this young man. He's looking to roll off from the pole and win a race today.
I think that's your theme for the day. Life is good.
If you're talking about trucks on Fox Sports 1, the way these guys are going to battle each other today, if you can't have fun doing this, you've got some issues. And I, as you well know, don't have any issues.
Of course not.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
All right, before we go racing, let's go down to pit road and Hermie Sadler.
Well, Steve, as Michael just mentioned, Ryan Blaney is the points leader in the Camping World Truck Series, and how he's done that has been nothing short of amazing. Been very, very consistent. 2 22nd place finishes in a row heading out of Charlotte, but since that, this team has been on the money. Nothing but top 5 finishes, consistency, running well every week, and getting it done. You can see right there a rise all the way to the top of the point standing. Now, to keep his point lead coming out of Michigan, he will have to avoid what happened to him in this race 1 year ago. Watch coming off turn 2. Racetrack gets tight. Bubba Wallace takes a left. The 29 gets knocked off the racetrack into the inside wall. A lot of frustration from Ryan Blaney. As you can see, that's his buddy, Bubba Wallace, running him off the racetrack. He will have to not have that happen today. He's made it there without winning. He'd like to win, but he'll have to avoid that bad finish rate to maintain his lead in the points.
You know, Hermie, the last couple times we've seen Kyle Busch out, it's been to victory lane. Actually, every time this season. 5 for 5. What an incredible record. But when we look at the Michigan International Speedway, guess what? Over the last 8 times the Camping World trucks have run here, there has been a driver who led the most laps but didn't necessarily go to victory lane. So being a dominant truck doesn't mean you're going to win at this particular track. Kurt Busch didn't do it. Kyle Busch hasn't done it. Todd Bodine or Mark Martin. So lots of guys who've had a really good fast race track at this track weren't able to pull it off. Today, we believe that Kyle Busch has the fastest truck. Most everybody would agree that he's the best driver in the field. He's had an incredible season so far. Can he break that streak of 8 races where the dominant truck didn't go to victory lane? We'll have to find out.
All right, thanks very much, Ray Dunlap, Hermie Sadler.
Kyle Busch didn't get the starting position that he wanted. We had a lot of drama during that final qualifying run. For those of you that didn't watch on Fox Sports 1, everybody waited to the last instant other than Ryan Blaney, and nobody got a legitimate time in that last session other than Ryan, and that's why he's sitting here on the pole.
Michael, getting back to what Ray Dunlap said, you know, Kyle Busch has won more races in this series than anybody else. We know that, except for Ron Hornaday, that is. But how good is his truck from what we've seen yesterday?
Well, I like the way they worked on that truck yesterday, Steve. He was tight at the first of the practice, and then he got it freed up a little bit too free. They came in and made one more adjustment, and we saw him fall all the way to the end of the pack and drive through them. Starting from this 11th starting spot, like you said, there was drama during qualifying. He didn't get a lap in that last session. That's good for us, because it's going to be fun to see how he cuts through this field. How soon will he go to the top? You know, he's been out there in his Cup car, and the Cup guys were widening the groove, so we could see Kyle Busch jump to the high side. He's starting on the bottom. It's going to be fun to see how he maneuvers his way through, but I promise you this, he will. His truck's fast, and he will get through these guys. Can he stay there? He's held the lead late in the going 4 times here at Michigan and hasn't been able to pull off the win.
I want to welcome back Travis Kvapil to the series. Travis is the only former winner here at Michigan in the field, and he won here twice. His crew chief on this Zaxby's Toyota is Mike Beam. They won together for Roush Fenway. But we will also want to say, hurry back John West Townley. They're going to keep him out possibly one more weekend after his hard crash in qualifying at Pocono, and hopefully he'll be back at Bristol next week. But Travis Kvapil is going to give that Zaxby's truck a good ride.
Yeah, I was real thankful. I got to meet Mr. Townley and talk to him about this team, and they're really excited about their future together. Just wanted to make sure that young man was ready to roll when he goes back racing.
Before the green flag, let's listen to some radio communication between Matt Crafton and his spotter.
Just remember, let's keep in mind the last several races here, since they've repaved it 3 and 4 first lap, it's been some trouble, so we'll just have to pay attention. A lot of guys get up there getting the marbles wrecked real early.
Yes, they do. We saw that in the Cup race here in June, so there's a lot of interest in what's going to happen when they fire down into turn 3 the first time, not only from these truckers, from everybody watching.
Green flag in the air. All Brad Keselowski front row. Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano headed towards turn 1.
Joey Coulter wanted to pull out of line underneath the 13 of Jeb Burton. Jeb said, nope, not yet.
Side by side, headed down the backstretch.
We saw some crazy stuff in practice, but it cannot simulate all these trucks at the same time running 2 and 3 wide.
Look how fast Kyle Busch went from the bottom of the track in a starting position and trying to get to the high side to make some moves up top. You know, not a lot of people would be brave enough to pull that move right there off. We talked about how loose it is up top early in the going. Kyle purposely drove up there and made some ground.
Points leader Ryan Blaney leads the first lap. On board with Kyle Busch.
Heard him out of the throttle for just an instant here, and the biggest reason is because he has a lot of traffic in front of him.
And these trucks just handle so differently, Phil, when you have all these trucks around you. The turbulence off of them make them really, really loose at times. It'll also make them tight as well, so you just have to be on your toes every second.
Well, he was right on the tailgate of Jeb Burton in that number 13.
Well, it's too high. He's too high.
The 51 in the wall.
He went so high, he got up out of the groove there into the loose stuff.
And we saw him.
Did an amazing job catching that truck.
We saw him blowing off dust. How long will it be before he treks back up there? One turn.
Look how many positions he lost doing that. Lost all his momentum. Now he's going to drive back by on the high side. Take a look at this now. You see Caroga, the 77, down to his inside. I think he planned on passing that 13. Got a little bit of a wiggle. Had to use that extra room, and I think he did kiss the outside wall with that right rear quarter panel.
Sometimes you're committed. You have a plan, and you're going to go with that plan right up to when your truck jumps out from underneath of you. Whoa.
Well, Kyle Busch fell from 9th to 17th after getting up right up against the wall in turn 4.
What about this battle for the lead? Man, Travis Kvapil's heating up. Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace right there as well.
Travis Kvapil trying to work his way to the inside of Ryan Blaney. He will come off turn 4, side by side for the lead.
Kvapil with the edge at the start-finish line.
But Blaney with the push from Bubba. And they're going to drive around Kvapil and bring Joey Logano with them.
Does this not remind you of a super speedway race at Daytona Talladega? He was in the lead before he got to the start-finish line. He got to turn 1 and he was 4th.
What I love about this style of racing, you've got a nice mix of the truck has to handle, as we talked about. Talked to Joey Logano earlier. You got to have good stickability in the center of the turn. Where at Daytona and Talladega, you just mat it and ride in the draft. Here, you got to know how to use the draft, and you also have to have a great handling pickup truck.
We saw Bubba Wallace take a look down below the 29 of Ryan Blaney. Single file now as they enter turn 1.
Not for long. Looks like Bubba Wallace wants part of that lead.
Bubba's going to hook the yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. Now he's going to try to get away from Ryan. So Ryan can't side draft him. Now he's going to pull back up alongside as they enter turn 3, side by side.
That's a tough move there to hold the bottom low. If you're that inside truck, the truck really wants to get loose. You don't have the air to lean on.
Ryan has his teammate Joey Logano behind him pushing.
And that's going to mean no lead for Bubba. Those two Fords are going to go right by that Toyota.
The 1932-05. 05 is going to try to go 3 wide.
Look at this pack of 5 trucks.
Where'd Taylor Malsom come from in that 32 truck?
He's been lurking. He's been right on the heels of these guys and taking advantage of the move that Bubba Wallace tried to make to the bottom. And look at Travis Kvapil. He's going to be the odd man out now.
I think we got a lot of drivability right now on these trucks up front.
Yeah, because here comes Timothy Peters on the bottom. And there's Johnny Sauter also trying to join this battle. What a race for the lead here at Michigan.
Here's Kyle Busch. He was able to get by Matt Kraft, and he dropped all the way to the 17th position when he went high over in turns 3 and 4.
Right rear just kissed the wall, but he's back up to full speed.
And inside the top 10. And I know just wanting to be a part of that battle for the lead.
Had a pedal right there. He got a little bit wide off for turn 2.
Trouble for the 05, Travis Kvapil.
Such a good truck, too. Giving that Zaxby's truck a good ride. Travis Kvapil looks like it's going up in smoke.
Just go to the garage. We don't need to run all down this pit road here.
That's Mike Bean, crew chief, saying just go straight to the garage. Here they are as they exit turn number 2. He felt something pulled out of line just as the smoke started.
First caution of the afternoon out on lap number 7. 8 complete now at Michigan. Stay with us on Fox Sports 1. Under caution for the first time this afternoon. Trouble for Travis Kvapil. His 05 truck loses power.
One thing interesting, this is our leader, Ryan Blaney. He's already saving fuel. We've watched him during the commercial break get that truck running a little bit and then shut it off.
There he goes there, Phil, and you're right. They started saving fuel when they cranked them earlier. It just opens up your options. The further you can go on gas, maybe you stretch it to a different window. So these teams, that's just protocol for all the teams nowadays. As soon as you start the engine, you think about saving some gas.
And we saw Nelson Piquet win this race from a fuel conservation effort.
You know, this is so sad. Travis Kvapil had a truck he could have won this darn race with, and running right there in the 3rd position, felt something go wrong with that engine, and he dove to the bottom.
They're pretty fortunate there was enough room in front of Bubba Wallace to get down to the inside, but the veteran that Travis is, he was able to do that.
Also, we see Austin Dillon in the 20, our most recent winner. He won at Pocono. We saw him go down pit road with the hood up. Ray Dunlap, what's going on with that 20 team?
Well, he'll be back to pit road here, Steve. They are down a cylinder, and they believe that it's not a terminal engine problem, that it may be a bad spark plug. So they will come down here, they'll pull the hood back up, and they'll shut that engine off, and they will try to diagnose and change the plug and see if they can get him back. to running on 8 cylinders. Hermie?
Well, Travis, you're managing a smile because you had a fast truck, but what went wrong with the engine, and did it give you any warning?
No warning. It definitely broke, unfortunately, and it's looks pretty major under there. There's holes in the oil pan, so that's not a good sign. But just really thankful for the opportunity. Mike Beam and the Zaxby's team gave me a marvelous truck. It was incredibly fast. The drafting was definitely going to play a big factor, but had a couple good runs out there. Was already, having a lot of fun, and the truck was just handling super, wide open easily, and was looking forward to, kind of what strategy we could work out to get some track position and stay up front there. But it was fun to drive a fast race car again, and really thankful for the opportunity.
That's Travis Quaffle behind the wall.
Won here in 2004 and 2007, but he exits this race early today. We'll be right back to Michigan. Race trucks to pit road. Lap 12 of 100 here. The careers for veterans, 200.
A little bit of strategy here. These guys, I think, may try to make it on one more stop here. Try to save a little fuel. There's the two Brad Keselowski trucks first off pit road.
Bubba Wallace, Timothy Peters, a couple of the fast trucks that have stayed out during this caution. So, it's funny, Phil, we saw Blaney saving gas, then he came in and got some. But the more you save, the less you got to get. So that means less time on pit road, and that's how competitive the truck series is. You can't.
And watch his hand there. He's already going to in a fuel conservation mode here. Again, we talk about the fuel window being somewhere between 40 and 42 laps. Caution laps make that better. Right now, we've completed 12 laps. That means if we broke it in the race in half, it would be 44 laps each. That's pretty darn close.
So strategy starting to play out here early in this race at Michigan. Stay with us. Green flag back underway here at the Michigan International Speedway. 7 laps of caution, working lap 14.
Remember, the two trucks up front have not been to pit road yet. The two Brad Keselowski trucks in the second row have been.
For just a splash of gas, though, so everything should be pretty even. And we've seen some great racing in the front. That's the speedy dry that NASCAR put down, cleaning up the mess from Travis Quapple's truck. Look at the run that Timothy Peters gets on the bottom. We've heard a lot of energy from Timothy about how fast this truck is. He's making some ground down there, but he's not able to hold on. Bubba Wallace to the lead.
Timothy's going to be able to get in line in front of the 19 of Joey Logano. See, look at Kyle Busch. He's down there by himself on the inside. The outside line's going by him.
What do you guys think about the strategy of Darrell Wallace and Timothy Peters staying out?
Look at Timothy. He's so strong down on the bottom. Can he finish the move? No. But he's got a great truck to be able to get that far up on another truck just by diving down low into the corner. That's impressive. He squeezes into a hole that I didn't know was there, Phil.
Yeah, he did. And I think right now those two trucks up front were saying, okay, we know we're going to make 2 pit stops. Why stop now? Maybe aren't getting the fuel mileage to make it on one stop like the rest of these trucks do from this point on.
Kyle Busch has raced from his 17th spot that he fell to when he got sideways up to 7th. So he's got a great truck, and he's coming, looking on the outside here on Jeff Burton.
So many of these trucks are good right now, Michael. That's why he's not able to make up any more ground. These other trucks in front of him are good as well. Now he's going to move to the inside. No, he's going to stay right behind that 29 of Ryan Blaney, trying to push him by Jeff Burton in the 13.
Plus, he knows there's room up there on the high side that no one else is taking. He's running just a half a groove higher than the rest of the field, so he likes that. And look what happened to Jeb. Jeb thought he was going to town, and look at the world coming behind him.
Comes Kyle to the inside of Ryan Blaney, see if he can make the move, trying to get up beside, and he's going to find a hole in between Johnny Sauter, the 98, and Ryan Blaney, right that we're riding with in the 29.
Looks like Matt Crafton has a really fast truck as well. He was hanging right with Kyle Busch as Kyle's racing through the field. Kyle's able to clear Blaney, and Crafton isn't.
See Johnny Sauter right there, that white and black truck, the 98, holds down the 4th spot. Kyle is going to look to the inside of Johnny Sauter. Johnny was real happy with this truck today.
Hermie Sadler.
Well, Steve, a lot of the trucks on my end of pit road, they came down pit road, were fighting a free condition, loose on entry, but not the 98. His truck was tight on exit, but really likes the drivability of it. He's working with the new crew chief this weekend, a veteran, Jeff Hensley. They came down pit road, fuel only, and took a little bit of wedge out of that 98. And Johnny has been very happy with this truck on the radio. Ray?
Kyle Busch's truck was loose also, Hermie, so when they came into pit on lap number 12, they dropped the track bar about a round and a half. Kyle said he just got way up in the marbles, is why he touched the wall earlier when the 13 ran him up there. He said, make sure you go tell his spotter that I'll remember that, and it's not acceptable.
We'll have to look at the video and see exactly how close that was.
Sometimes you have a tendency to see it a little differently out the windshield, as we can see it from up here. But I did see just now that 19 of Joey Logano take over the second spot from Timothy Peters in the 17.
And, you know, we talked to Logano before the green flag flew, and he talked about that would be a handling truck. We've gotten far enough on these tires where handling is going to become a real factor. Kyle Busch dives to the bottom, is going to try to pick up a spot up into the third position. He's not going to clear Timothy Peters, but handling right now, the tires are hot enough, the fuel's burnt off enough on some of these trucks to where you got to figure that if you're going to be loose or tight, it's really going to show up now.
On board with Kyle Busch, Timothy Peters able to slam the door for the time being. Darrell Wallace still the leader, followed by Logano.
We can hear Kyle Busch feathering the throttle a little bit and not losing any ground. That means these trucks may not be running wide open around this racetrack that they were able to do in qualifying and in practice yesterday. A little bit warmer today than it was yesterday, too.
Yeah, and the sun's shining bright. Track temps up.
Kyle Busch drops to the bottom again below Timothy Peters.
Timothy has the advantage of having Joey Logano right in front of him. You see Kyle pull over to side draft on Timothy, see if he can beat him down into turn number 1.
You see that yellow truck back there, Matt Crafton? He's running in the sixth spot. That time by, he was 0.3 of a second faster than our leader. The draft is big. You need it to run a fast time, but handling, I think, will ultimately be what wins you this race.
And it looks like Matt Crafton's truck is handling well right now. He's able to make the pass on Ryan Blaney. You could hear Ryan Blaney come out of the throttle as he got down to turn 3.
Ryan's hoping from a push there from Sauter to gain a little momentum, pull back up on Matt Crafton. He gets just that.
You also see Jeb Burton in the number 13. He pulls up into the picture.
There's Armand Quiroga right behind the 13. He's in the 77 blue truck. Johnny Sauter is going to be pressed into double duty. Had not planned on doing double duty, but Ryan Truex had a hard crash in practice this morning in the Cup Series, and Johnny Sauter is actually going to drive that car tomorrow.
Timothy Peters goes around Logano as well. So Kyle Busch and Peters. Here comes Matt Crafton. Matt's really fast today.
Remember, Matt's one of the trucks, guys, that did not make the final round of qualifying. Qualified back outside of the top 12. He started this race from the 14th spot.
Like Timothy Peters had a little bit of a run on Kyle Busch down in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Tried to make the move, pulled up in behind Busch.
Ray, what's going on with Matt Crafton?
Well, keep in mind, Steve, he's making his 13th Camping World Truck Series start here, so he has the most experience in a truck of anybody. But he said he's about a 2 tight right now, and he said, I'm really hoping the sun will start beating on this racetrack and get it a little bit hotter and a little bit slicker. He said, I think our truck will come to us later in the run.
Aggressive move by Ryan Blaney down to the bottom, right on the yellow line.
Ryan Blaney came up a couple trucks running side by side. They punched such a big hole in the air. It just opened up that bottom for him.
Man, I don't see how they fit those trucks in those holes sometimes. And Jeb didn't see how he did it either. So Jeb just took a left and said, man, you can't pull in front of me like that. I'm going to pass you. And that's what I love about this Michigan International Speedway. You see them right down there on the white line. They'll eventually venture up into that gray area. There's just so many grooves here, so much room to race.
You see an illustration of it right there, 3 wide.
That's what this racetrack was built for such a long time ago. 1969 was the first Cup race here at Michigan.
Look at this pack of 8, 9 trucks trying to sort it out. Meanwhile, the lead trio have broken away from this group.
How about Ron Hornaday? Going to make his presence known on the bottom of the racetrack in that black number 30. He's going to be able to get in front of Ryan Blaney. Passed 2 trucks that corner.
It's got to be fun for these guys, being able to make moves and drive around each other. Hornaday dives to the bottom again.
He's not done. He's going after Johnny Sauter.
26 laps complete here out of 100. Darrell Wallace Jr. has led twice for 16 laps. He continues on the point. Kyle Busch hunting him down.
Keekley be there?
Luke, number 59, you bet he will. There's your leaders, teammates. Darrell Wallace Jr., his boss, Kyle Busch. Top 5, in fact, all in Toyotas.
Timothy Peters has been really strong in this race. He right now runs in a 3rd spot. Just a little bit behind these guys. We're riding along right now in that Toyota, pure Toyota for Kyle Busch. There's Timothy Peters, that white and red truck. Just hanging in here with these guys. Actually ran a faster lap, that last lap, than our 2 leaders did.
And our fastest truck was Ron Hornaday all the way back in the 6th spot. So we're taking advantage of the air that the trucks ahead of them are busting and running some good laps. There's Hornaday right down on the bottom of the track.
Jeff Burton running in the 5th position in that number 13 truck. We listened into some radio communication between he and his spotter.
Too wide. Trying to wreck under you. You're clear now. You clear yourself like that, you wreck. It's on you. Didn't clear myself, Ron. I stayed in my lane. He just let up. Yeah, just be careful with that, man. I mean, I'm not going to clear you tight yet because it's early.
I'm just glad to hear the spotters are concerned about how they're getting in holes that aren't there too, because
scared you.
As the broadcaster, I'm like, how does that work? How are they fitting in there? And you could hear the concern from the spotter. A little early to be trying to get and squeeze into a guy's lane, and we've seen a lot of that today.
Hermie has more on Jeff Burton.
Well, Steve, this team just needs a solid, uneventful top 5 run. I think that's part of why you heard the reaction from the spotter. And it's been so far so good today for the 13. It came down pit road, got fuel only, a little bit tight on exit, but they left it alone thinking the fuel would change the balance a little bit, and the 13 is making his way towards the front, Ray.
Joey Logano has gone from the front row back to 14th position. He's been on the radio telling his crew chief, Doug Randolph, there's something wrong with the right front. He said, I can't tell for sure if it's a shock or whether we've got the fender beat in somehow, but he said, whatever it is, I've got a bad balance in the right front.
Well, that truck was so good early on in this race. Joey's going to stay out there, hopefully to try to catch a caution flag so they can get down pit road and work on that truck.
We've seen the attitude of these trucks. A lot of them are up a little bit on the right front on the straightaway, and they're down on the turns. I wonder if we can get a good look at the front of the lead trucks and see if we can see any difference in how they look on the straightaways as opposed to Logano's. We're pretty much flat on the ground all the way across, huh, Phil?
Yeah, certainly looks like it. How about a call for Spencer Gallagher right now, just outside the top 10 in that Allegiant Air Chevrolet for GMS Racing. Doing a nice job here. Had a top 5 run here in the ARCA race back in June. So he has a little bit of track knowledge here and doing a great job.
And we talked a little bit about the speed of the BKR trucks. Brad's trucks haven't been as fast this weekend as we're used to seeing. And both of them, Logano especially falling back, but that's our pole sitter there. Ryan Blaney struggling to stay inside the top 10 is going to get a charge here from Taylor Malsom on the bottom.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney 9th. Taking a look at Taylor Malsom, who takes a look at the inside.
And I don't think it's a situation where he's in fuel conservation mode, because we know that Kyle Busch is in the same boat he is. He stopped on lap number 12, and he's right now several seconds, 14 seconds ahead of Ryan Blaney.
There's Jason White pulling up on the tailgate of Ryan Blaney, giving a little bit of a push there.
See Spencer Gallagher, the 23 on the inside of Jay White. That's that blue truck on the inside.
Give a call to Ben Kennedy there. He's joining this battle as well. All these trucks racing inside the top 15.
Jay White's best career finish came right here at Michigan a couple years ago.
Rode home in second, did he?
Sure did.
Back up front.
You want on your bumper. He knows you're coming. He knows you're coming.
Well, don't you know that Kyle Busch is in a perfect spot right now? He pitted on lap number 12.
17's coming with us. 17's coming with us.
And saving a lot of gas right now.
Just drafting along behind his other truck, and that 54, our leader, is going to come to pit road this lap, it sounds like. As is Timothy Peters. So Kyle Busch will go high, Bubba to the bottom, make a green flag pit stop here.
Yeah, remember the 54 and the 17 stayed out when everybody else came to pit road when the first caution was displayed.
So we'll call this coming in on lap number 38. Remember, they had pace laps at the start of this thing that burned some fuel out.
Ray Dunlap.
Here's the deal, Steve. They could have stayed out 5 more laps, and Jerry Baxter, his crew chief, was saying, let's not come this early. But moments ago, Bubba said the water temperature is climbing, climbing, climbing. And you can see there's a piece of debris on the left front of the grill, so they will have to get that off of there. It went from about 230 to 265. They'll have to clean that grill. They'll put Sunoco fuel in, hang 4 Goodyear tires on it. They're going to pull tape off, and now they get that grill clean. Bubba will go back to the racetrack, but an early pit stop.
See, Bubba's able to win the battle off of pit road. Timothy Peters, the 17, will pull out right behind him. They probably took some tape off. They may not have needed that. As much debris was on that grill, they may have been okay just cleaning it.
So Kyle Busch inherits the lead with a pit stop. He's followed by Jeff Burton, veteran Ron Hornaday, Johnny Sauter, and Matt Crafton. We'll be right back. Glad you're back with us. 43 laps of 100 complete. Kyle Busch, there he is in the 51 at the front. He's followed by Jeff Burton and Ron Hornaday. And the owner of Brad Keselowski Racing, the aforementioned Brad Keselowski, has joined us. Brad, thanks for stopping by.
Hey, glad to be here. Thank you, Steve, for having me.
Great qualifying effort by your bunch today.
Yeah, you know, Ryan Blaney and his spotter, Joey Meyer, did a great job of just being on the track, which apparently was all it took.
Wasn't it cool how you got first by being the only guy on the track, and you got second by setting the world record for a pickup truck on a closed course? 187 miles an hour for Joe Logano.
Michael, you remember when you were a kid and your parents used to tell you that showing up is half the battle?
Yeah.
Well, I think we just saw that in qualifying today for the truck series, and I was very proud of that. But we want to stay up in the front, and we're fading a little bit here, so we got to work on them a little bit. Have a pit stop coming up to do just that, Phil.
Yeah. And probably one more stop for you guys. We were talking about that during a commercial break. Everybody, your guys pitted on lap number 12. It's going to be close to make it on one stop.
Very close. You know, I think it's going to take at least one yellow to make it on one stop as I was doing the math there. And we'll probably get one more yellow. You know, I doubt we'll stay strung out this long.
Have you listened to the radio transmission between the team and the crew chief? What's going on with this 29 truck that started it so strong, and he's faded back to the 8th spot now?
Well, I haven't been able to hear what they've been saying, but I know before the race, Joey and Ryan both were commenting how they had a lot of short run speed. So we're counting, you know, as the race strategy unfolds with crew chiefs, they always try to have a truck that's good on short run and long runs, but sometimes you can't find that. We couldn't find that in practice, so they favored the short runs. And what they're hoping for is a late race restart with a lot of speed in the short run side where they can drive to the front and hopefully win the race.
Brad, want to mention, too, we saw the piece in the setup show with Chris Devoda and the great work by you and your foundation, the Career for Veterans 200 and Cooper Standard. It was a great piece.
Yeah, thank you. You guys did a great job. You know, it is a cause that's near and dear to our heart, and that's really how my relationship with Cooper Standard got started. And, you know, we've done a lot of great things with veterans. I had the Race to Recovery program for a number of years and transitioned this year to supporting the careers for veterans. And we have over 2,300 people in the stands today, and a good portion of them are veterans. And I think you look back to the history of NASCAR. You know, NASCAR was started in 1948, and a lot of the people that were behind the wheel and owners and mechanics came right from World War II. And so there's always been a real close connection between military and NASCAR from the get-go, and it's great to see that carry on here.
And the very first champion, Red Byron, the first time I heard about him, they always say World War II flying ace, Red Byron.
Yes, and NASCAR champion, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great to keep that going, and we hope other people will follow on with that.
I started to say before we had that shot of all the blue shirts up in the grandstands that I saw a lot of blue shirts today down in the infield in the grandstands.
There's an onboard shot of Ryan Blaney battling his pickup truck down into turn 3. Barely out of the gas. He's up to 7th now, so it feels like maybe that truck's coming around a little bit. He fell pretty quickly from the lead pack back to the back part of the top 10, and now he's stabilized at least.
See Timothy Peters right there. He made a pit stop under green here. Back on lap number 38. He, along with Bubba Wallace, and Bubba Wallace right now has got himself back on the lead lap. Timothy Peters trying to do that, trying to get by Johnny Sauter. They find themselves about 5 seconds behind Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Timothy really needs the race to stay green and for the cycles to complete to get back in rhythm here. And that's the risk you take when you stay out in those situations. You know, you can be a hero or zero very easily depending on how the cautions fall.
Jason White in that 9 truck is going to try to follow Joey Coulter by the 29. And there's Spencer Gallagher. You're right. You got to tip your cap to Spencer today. He made the final round of knockout qualifying and now solidly running up in the 11th spot.
May make his way by that 9 truck of Jason White to move up into the top 10. He does.
And what you're seeing there, Michael, and I know you guys have been talking about it, but the drafting. Oh my gosh, you know, you run the high lane, you get the big draft. So when you're faster in the corner, you pull down to the bottom and make the pass. You got to be able to get it cleared, otherwise you won't get the high lane for the straightaway.
I think your man's coming to pit lane here.
And we are halfway, 50 laps complete.
Red. Get all you can here. 4,600, 2 red. 4,600 right here. All the way.
Ryan Blaney to pit road, our pole sitter and points leader.
That was Bubba Wallace unlapping himself.
He was just behind Kyle Busch.
Gets him in a good spot where the caution to fly here.
Ray Dunlap is there.
Not necessarily in their fuel window here, but Ryan Blaney said his truck has really gone to the tight side. They've got a little piece of debris on the grill also. They'll take a tear off on the windshield, pack that thing full of Sunoco fuel. Not sure if they've noticed. Yes, there they will. They'll try to clean that piece off. It falls off, and the careers for veteran number 29 back to the racetrack. They pitted on lap 51.
All right, thanks, Ray. Mason Mingus also to pit road. The 23 of Spencer Gallagher also down off the racetrack.
Looks like Kyle Busch is making his way to pit road as well.
I think he might be out of gas. Look how he's weaving the truck back and forth.
We talked about the pit window being somewhere around 40 laps.
Attack and not compensate on the low side. 46 right here.
If he's out of gas, he doesn't have a tack, so I guess maybe he's just feeling like it was running out, Brad.
Well, he's weaving a lot, which is usually what you do when you think you're running out, right, Michael?
Yes, sir. And I think he is out because he's going below the pit road speed.
Way below the pit road speed.
He just turned the switches off. He may try to restart it before he gets down to his pit stall.
And these trucks are very hard to start when they're out of gas. He's got a long ways to go all the way to the end of pit road. You know, the Cup cars have fuel injection, and they'll start right back up. But the trucks and the Nationwide cars do not. They run most of them in cable drive. It's very hard to get these things started back up when they run out of gas.
Ray Dunlap.
They've got the bottle in, and they've got it fired up, but it stalls once again. Trying to get that fuel in there is tough. Kyle keeps turning it over. They're pumping fuel in. They've also squirting it in at the cowl. They've got the 4 tires on it, but the engine is not fired back up yet. It did once, but then it stalled again. Kyle sitting here with no power yet. They're going to continue to try to get it fired up. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Johnny Sauter hits his pit stall a little bit too tight on exit. A little bit of a wedge adjustment for the 98. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. They got to get this truck better on acceleration. The 32 of Taylor Mawson, he's had a pretty good race truck. He's been a little bit free the entire run. 4 tires and air pressure adjustment only for Taylor Mawson. Also, Ron Hornaday down and away. Jeb Burton, a very slow stop on the 13. A lot of trouble on the left rear, Ray.
Number 88, Matt Crafton saying his truck was really tight early. It continued to stay that way, especially on the exit of number 4. So they're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the right side of his Menards Toyota. Here he comes down in. They'll go for a 4-tire stop here. This will be lap 54 as he came off of the racetrack. Continue to plug that fuel in. Hang the tires on the right side. Come back around. Somewhat of a lengthy stop here. Not as long as Kyle Busch's so far. They get the left side tires on. And Crafton is down and back to the racetrack.
All right, thanks, guys. Also want to point out Jeb Burton in the 13 was running 4th when he came to pit road. It looks like trouble on the left rear.
He's having trouble. Like the Giant needs another pump there, and he's calling for that. The Giant man gives it to him, but certainly cost a lot of time. And then the change doesn't go well either.
I think right now, with as early as most of these trucks came down pit road, they may not be able to make it from here, because most of these trucks pitted back on lap number 52, 53, 54. That's going to be a long while. Now, they're going to take some caution laps like you were mentioning, Brad.
Yeah, the field's just starting to cycle back out, and here you see Bubba Wallace to the lead. He's in great shape. He's got over a 5-second lead on Timothy Peters, and those two are on the same pit cycle, and everyone has to pit one more time, so they're in great shape. Oh, see, the splitter tore off the 19. That's a big deal.
And you thought he had a problem with the right front, and it looks like it's the whole front end there.
The whole nose is broke.
That's the deal, Phil. They came on and said, look, we've got a much bigger issue than we thought. The entire lower section of the nose has come loose. We'll have to see. You would think they would get some bare bond and try to lift that up and see if they can secure it as they put left side tires on here. Joey had been on the radio saying we definitely have an aero issue for sure. And there comes the bare bond. They'll see if they can pull it up a little bit. They do. They get that thing tight on there. They might be able to salvage that. They didn't really close the gap much, but the 19 will go back to the track. He pitted on 56.
Yeah, you're not going to fix that. That's a major issue for sure.
See right there, that gap is not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be solid, and that's letting air get in there. And you would think that splitter is going to continue to hit the racetrack, and part of that splitter's gone, isn't it?
Yeah, it wore right through the splitter, and you really need all that for the downforce.
Brad Keselowski with us in the booth. Darrell Wallace Jr., call him Bubba. He is your leader, followed by Timothy Peters.
You don't think Kenny Wallace will be tuned in at 7 tonight to watch those Cardinals play with Matt Holliday on the mound, do you?
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. He loves the Cardinals about as much as we love the Tigers, doesn't he?
Yes.
Phil went the other day.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of my team's going to go tonight. That's the great thing about being in the Michigan area. So much to see and so much to do.
How proud were you to, being from this area, to put your cars on the front? I mean, your truck's on the front row. I know so far the race hasn't played out like you hoped, but that had to be a great feeling, especially with all the guests you have here today.
That was definitely huge, and like I said, we want to keep it going. A lot of racing left, though. We got about 38 laps left. Kyle Busch is really fast. He's about 2 to 3 tenths faster than anyone out there right now. So if he can get back in the game, he'll be the guy to beat. But you never know what's going to happen in these truck races. You've seen it, Michael. We've all seen it.
That's right. It's crazy at the end.
Yeah,
no doubt.
One caution right now changes the whole shebang.
On board with Ron Hornaday, he rides 4th. We listened in to he and his team.
You fixed my tightness. It's pretty tight. Dead 4. Get your left rear blower up if you're tight. I mean on, sorry. Sit on, since you made the adjustment.
Ron Hornaday obviously talking about a tight truck as well. Doug George, his crew chief, telling him which blowers to turn on and off.
And that's a conversation you could pick up from any one of these trucks. No one's truck's perfect. Kyle Busch's must be pretty close as fast as he's going, but everybody is dealing with some sort of issue. Whether they're in traffic or running alone, they would like that truck to be even better yet. And Ron was explaining to Doug how tight his truck was.
Johnny Sauter, the 3rd position. Hermie Sadler.
Well, Steve, a pretty good pit stop for Johnny Sauter in the 98, and a decent truck right now by himself pretty much on the racetrack, but a little bit of concern, as Johnny has reported since the most recent stop when they took 4 tires. He's reported a vibration, a pretty consistent vibration since the time he went back on the racetrack. So they were thinking maybe loose wheel to begin with, but Johnny hasn't said anything the last 3 to 5 laps. So right now he's riding it out, but a little bit of concern on the 98.
Phil, that's that attitude I was talking about. Down on the left front, a little bit up on the right front. We could see that really well on Johnny's truck. And a lot of trucks in practice would seal right to the road in the corner, but those right fronts just seem to be up just a bit. And when Logano was complaining earlier about some right front problems, his truck was flat on the ground right down the straightaway. Makes you wonder if there is an issue over on that corner, Brad.
Yeah, it does. You know, you see a lot of different approaches to the setups in these trucks, and a lot of that's coming from the Sprint Cup Series, trying to work on getting the spoilers down, getting the back of the cars and trucks down to get rid of that drag down the straightaway, but still keep the skirt sealed on in the corners so you can have as much speed as possible when it counts in the corner and down the straightaway.
It's really amazing the engineering it takes to try to accomplish all those things at the same time.
What's it like driving down into one of these corners at in your case, in a Cup car at over 210 miles an hour. How do you think you're going to make that corner? It looks flat to me.
Well, when you go into that corner that first time in practice and you see the dust and there's no rubber on the track, you're just praying that Goodyear brought a strong enough tire to take that load. And they've done a great job with this tire. It's an incredible challenge for them to make it work. But this track here is the biggest, baddest, and fastest one of them all right now in the Sprint Cup circuit. You really got to man up to run fast here.
Kyle Busch goes by Jeb Burton.
Look at the way his truck turned right there. Did you see that, Michael?
He just turned it left.
Just right underneath that lap truck.
That's a great feeling, too, to have something that will respond to that type of driving of the truck. And as he knifes his way through the field, up inside the top 10 now, this is going to have to be quite the rebound. A caution flag, though, puts him right back in the game. And obviously, what's he waving at?
I think he's just getting some fresh air in there, it looks like.
Them trucks are hot.
He just drove around that corner wide open with one hand.
No, he was number 1.
Joey Logano back to pit road.
So they're trying to work on this splitter, Phil. Basically what you saw is the top and the bottom half of the nose pieces. They're two-piece nose pieces for those fans at home, and they go together right in the center. And when it breaks, it falls down, and the splitter drags on the track, and that can be the end of your day, and it basically is for Joey right here.
Right.
Steve, the tape that they had put on before actually was covering the grill, and Joey said water temperatures going up. So Robert Huffman is heading this crew, and what they did was they had 2 guys lift up on the bottom of the splitter, then they riveted on a couple of pieces of sheet metal, and now they're covering it up with bare bond. But they got to be very careful not to cover the grill. So lots of work to do there. But Joey Logano had a great day start, and then it started to go worse, and now they're going to get a poor finish at the end of the day.
Yeah, already 3 laps down, and we'll go another lap down at least here before they make the repairs, as he now is leaving his pit stall. Timothy Peters right now running in the 3rd spot.
Look at this gaggle of trucks we have here, Michael, all the way from 2nd to 7th. It's a good little battle.
Yeah, Darrell Wallace has built himself a nice little cushion, nearly 10 seconds ahead of Johnny Sauter.
See Timothy Peters, he was on the same schedule as Bubba Wallace.
Look at all that movement, though. They look like they're just riding along 2nd to 7th, just trying to make some ground on our leader. But no one's content to sit still. Ron Hornaday makes his way around Timothy Peters. That's going to open up the door for Crafton. The draft is the reason why they're able to do all this movement. How about 3 wide in this little pack?
Corogo, the 77, going to pull down to make that pass on the inside. See if he can clear his teammate Timothy Peters. A bit of a slide job up in front of him. Matt's going to get in front of Timothy Peters as well.
71 laps complete, just 29 remaining here at the Michigan International Speedway. There's your leader, Bubba Wallace. Stay with us here on Fox Sports 1. Back at Michigan International, just 25 laps remaining in this 100-lap race. Darrell Wallace continues to lead. Meanwhile, Timothy Peters hits pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Last time he was on pit road was lap 38, so he'll come down for a scheduled stop here in his Valvoline Toyota. Timothy talking about the fact that his truck was just a little bit free on entry. You see, they are going to make a track bar adjustment. They're putting in fuel there. The 54 should be ready to come to pit road also. He may be out of gas. Timothy Peters gets in time. His engine's still running, and he's able to get away. Bubba Wallace, however, may not be as lucky. As he comes on the pit road, it looks like the truck may be coasting.
He's definitely out of fuel, Ray. He ran out, I think, coming down the front straightaway. I noticed him dive to the bottom of the track. Maybe picked up a little fuel, and on the back it went completely out. And it'd be lucky if he wasn't speeding in that first section. With your engine off, you don't have a tach to look at to understand your speed. He looked pretty fast when he first came to pit road.
His truck had been a 1.5 tight, he had told Jerry Baxter earlier, so they made an air pressure adjustment. You see, they'll try to get the fuel in right there by the cow once again. The guys will get tires on his Toyota. They do the right side. It does fire one time. This is similar to what happened to Kyle Busch. Bubba last pitted on 38, the same lap that Timothy Peters had come to pit road. So one Toyota made it and one didn't. Remember, Bubba had been out front of the field quite a bit.
Remember how much trouble Kyle Busch had restarting his truck. They're still working on that 54 truck. Again, 38 laps was when they stopped the first time. That's how long they went this time. And Bubba ran out of fuel, and Timothy didn't.
And he had built himself a 10-second lead, but that all goes away.
Now, Kyle, when he had the same problem, lost 30 seconds. It'll be interesting to see how much Bubba lost. He had about a 9-second lead coming in, but I think he ran out of fuel just a little bit earlier, Michael, than Kyle did. So he should lose a little bit more time, maybe even lose a lap.
So Johnny Sauter now in the 98.
And there the leaders go by him. He's going to just barely lose a lap, a second lap. So that's going to put him behind. He really doesn't need a yell to come out here.
And while we were away, Ryan Blaney, the points leader, the pole sitter, driving for Brad Keselowski, who joins us or has joined us in the booth, had to come to pit road. Brad, same exact problem that befell Joey Logano.
Yeah, something's going on where the nose pieces are breaking, whether that's from drafting, the turbulence, or maybe they're not strong enough. It's hard to say. Well, obviously they're not strong enough if they're breaking, but that's a big issue to the trucks, and they definitely have to work on them. That's really going to cost Ryan.
You come to town with the point lead and set on the pole. A lot of confidence from Ryan with his finishes as of late. Just repeating top 5 after top 5. Felt like a place where he could get a win for you and the team, and that's disappointing, obviously.
There's Johnny Sauter right there, the 98. He's going to be, as of now, the big beneficiary. He came in here trailing Ryan by 7 points. Right now, as they run, he's 11 points up as he moved to the outside of Jay White. And it's kind of ironic that, Brad, your two trucks basically had the exact same issue, and the two KBM trucks had the same issue of running out of fuel on the racetrack.
Well, that just shows that they're all built the same and run on the same strategy, but I really like the spot that Johnny's in right now. If this race stays green and he has a great pit cycle here, this is his race to win.
It's time now for our Camping World 20 to go. Johnny Sauter with the lead, followed by Ron Hornaday, Herman Quiroga. Matt Crafton rides 4th. Great run for Taylor Malsom, who is 5th.
I'll tell you who's heating up Johnny Sauter, and that is Ron Hornaday. We watched him make some moves around the pack that he was running in. Now he can see Johnny Sauter right out his front window. So Ron could be strong here and grab that 52nd career win in the Truck Series. That's the view he has of the leader. Look at him gain on Johnny Sauter as they go toward turn 1.
And the good news for these pit crews, they're only going to take 1 can of gas. We'll get them to the end here. A lot of them pitted anywhere between lap 47 for Herman Quiroga up to lap 54 by Matt Crafton. Johnny Sauter was in on lap 53, Hornaday 52, and we know they can go about 38 to 40 laps.
It'll be really interesting to see the strategy where they take 2 tires, where they take gas only. Some might even take 4. That might make a huge difference in this race, especially if the yellow comes out after the pit cycle.
And we've seen that in the history of this race. A lot of short runs at the end, some good battles at the end, so tires could play a role.
Ron Hornaday has caught Johnny Sauter, now moves down to the inside to try to take over the lead.
With a big push from Bubba Wallace.
Run outside.
As you mentioned, right now Bubba Wallace is 2 laps down. He desperately needs to get in front of these guys so he can only be 1 lap down and be in position possibly for the wave around when the caution flag comes out, if it does.
Bubba's whole race is about getting a yellow, but he has to pass these 2 trucks first. He has to pass them, get back to 1 lap down and get a wave around if a yellow comes out, and then he's got a shot at winning it. But this is his whole race in front of him with only 17 to go here at the line. He has to pass these 2 trucks as soon as possible.
Yeah, the lap's winding down here at Michigan International.
And that's your top 5 right there, guys, too. Johnny Sauter, Hornaday, then Bubba's a lap down, but all the way back to Taylor Malsom in 5th. They're all in contact with one another in the same group, racing for the win here with 17 to go.
Bubba able to get by Ron Hornaday. Now he just has 1 more truck to get by. That's Johnny Sauter. And again, that only puts him to 1 lap down. Timothy Peters right now is running in a 13th position. He's the lead truck that we know can make the distance without another pit stop.
Herman Quiroga, another solid job, Phil, up to the 3rd spot. Herman just seems to bring it every week. He gets himself in a position to get a great finish and knocking on the door for that 1st win. We talked about all the speed that these trucks showed in qualifying with an all-time track record of over 187 miles an hour. This is also running as a series record for a race. They're above the 154 mile an hour average that we had at Texas back in 2012. averaging 159 miles an hour.
Here comes Quiroga to pit road. He pitted on lap number 47, so he goes 47 laps, 48 laps as he comes to pit road. Ray Dunlap.
Armand Quiroga on his way down pit road. Lots of fuel strategy going on. I'm listening in to multiple crew chiefs talking about how much fuel they need to get to the end. Crafton's crew chief talking to him about maybe just a couple of seconds. Obviously, Quiroga was last in on lap 48, so they needed a good bit of fuel here. They make a track bar adjustment. They'll go down a half a pound of air pressure on the left sides for his Net 10 wireless Toyota and back to the racetrack.
Talked about it, Brad. 4 tires for Quiroga there. He'll be in great position if we get a caution after all the pit cycle takes place. See, Bubba Wallace at 54 has been able to get by Johnny Sauter.
How about a little side draft? Johnny, I'm going to have to borrow your air for a minute. Excuse me.
That's an angry, frustrated side draft is what that is.
That's an aggressive side draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's different from a normal side draft.
Absolutely. That's a come on, give me a break. I'm 2 laps down. I just want to get back in this race.
And Johnny's like, why are you so angry at me?
Well, when you have a problem, you're angry at everyone, right, Michael? You know, we listen to these drivers' radios, and I'm one of them. You're angry at everyone.
We've completed 87 laps now. It's been 34 laps since Johnny Sauter was on pit road, 35 laps since Hornaday was on pit road.
About time. Here comes Kyle Busch to pit road.
Ray Dunlap.
Kyle Busch was on pit road the last time on lap 53. Obviously, he was out of gas. He is going to come down here, get some fuel. We're at lap 87 right now. You see the wedge wrench in crew member's hand. Actually, that's a track bar. They're going to make 1 round on that track bar. Right side tires, will they go with a 2-tire stop? Yes, absolutely. And once again, Crafton was down pit road just a lap or 2 after Kyle Busch, so we'll keep our eye on that number 88.
I think a good call by Kyle Busch. He needed to make up some track position, so 2 tires. I think right now there's a lot of people that will only go 2 tires in fuel.
And that wasn't a very good stop for Kyle's team either. They got hung up on that right front tire there, so that was the only choice they had, I think. Even if they had called for 4, probably call it off and let's just get 2. Maybe some gas and goes too, Phil.
Absolutely.
And Kyle was 16 seconds behind, so he's got a long ways to go to catch up.
And I think it bears repeating. We've said it a bunch. Kyle Busch, 5 starts this year, 5 wins.
That streak is in jeopardy.
Yeah, he's going to have some help here, or all these guys run out of gas or something like that. But I'm telling you, if I'm Ron Hornaday, Johnny Sauter, I'm thinking about coming down pit road. I want to make sure my guys got it full that last time, not take any chances on running out on the racetrack.
I'm surprised these guys are staying out as long as they are.
I think they're setting themselves up for some gas and goes, though, which could mean the track position they need to grab the win. Here comes Hornaday and Taylor Mossam right behind him.
Hermie Sadler.
Steve, Ron Hornaday said all weekend long, this is the best truck he's had all season. It's a slight track bar adjustment and fuel only for Ron Hornaday. The 32 of Taylor Mossam also making his way down pit road. Fuel only for the 32. Look for Johnny Sauter in about 2 laps, guys.
Michael, you were right. A little gas and go for a couple of these trucks. The tires are not really falling off any, so there's really no advantage to putting tires on right now.
But if there's a caution inside these last 10, they've fallen off enough for that to give Kyle Busch a real shot at making a run at them. And we also have seen other guys get tires as well. Armand Quiroga got 4 tires, in fact. So there's some guys that just want this thing to run itself out, and a lot of people are looking for that caution flag to fly.
Johnny Sauter has run 38 laps since he was on pit road. Now, I swear I would not stay out another lap if I was them. Would not take a chance.
Sauter has led twice for 17 laps.
Isn't that crazy how much energy and momentum mean? Johnny Sauter's been that way ever since he got in that truck here at Michigan. He said, I've got the best truck I've had all year long, and now he's in a position to win this race.
No mistakes now. Do not speed on pit road.
Don't slide your tires. That's key. If you're going to take fuel only, you can't slide your tires.
Hermie Sadler.
Steve, this race is being called for Johnny Sauter by veteran crew chief Jeff Hensley. He is guiding Johnny Sauter into his pit stall, having to dodge around the 31 of Ben Kennedy. Obviously, it'll be fuel only. No adjustment for Johnny Sauter. They're counting him down. 3, 2, 1, go. 98 is down and away.
Boy, they didn't get much fuel in there, Michael. That one's going to be close.
No, and they got out of there. I was worried about that fuel can getting hung up, Phil. You talked about no mistakes. Johnny did his job. He got to pit road, no tires sliding at all. And then the crew's got to get that can engaged and then disengaged before he leaves, and they did their job as well. Hopefully they got enough gas in it.
And the 31 truck of Ben Kennedy stalled on pit road.
See some NASCAR officials walking out to that truck to push it out of the way.
Could that precipitate a caution?
There's some open pits right there, so they may just push that into an open pit stall. There's Jeff Hensley right there, Johnny Sauter's crew chief.
Ray Dunlap.
When Johnny Sauter came down pit road, Matt Crafton was about to follow him, but his crew chief, Junior Joyner, said, stay out. Let's lead a lap. We'll get the bonus point. They've done that. Now they could go another 3 laps, and they thought there might be a caution because of that number 31 on the track. They're the leader of the race. They can go at least 2 more right now, and they'll be to the pit road to get their final splash and go of fuel.
I'll tell you, if he runs out of gas right now, he's going to regret that decision to stay out and get that point. He actually stayed out and yet another lap here. So I think Matt Crafton needs to get to pit road now. We have 6 laps to go, 5.5 laps to go for Matt Crafton. There's no way he can make it the rest of the way.
And you know what is interesting, Phil? He was in touch with the leader. If he can just have maybe a second less of fuel on his pit stop, that could be
Should have been
the
saving
difference.
a long time ago to do it, though. I think it's too risky. I'd love to do it, buddy, more than you know. That's it.
At Texas, he
Next
stretched
time,
his fuel to win it.
Next time by.
He's
3
saying,
seconds of gas. You got to get everything. I don't care about tires. Get it all.
Just 5 laps remaining.
what about his crew chief? I don't care if you slide the tires. Just get here as fast as you can. We're going to put 2 seconds of gas in it, and you're going to go win this thing on cords if that's what it takes.
That's going to take a lot to get him in and out in front of Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter had a little bit of a gap in front of him. This is going to be tight, and this is going to be the race right here between the 98 and 88. Did the 98 get enough gas? And will the 88 execute this pit stop? That's going to be the race for the win.
Right now, the 98, 31 seconds behind Matt Crafton as he slows down. There's Johnny Sauter right there going in turn 1.
Get down here.
So Johnny Sauter gave up the lead on lap 92 to pit. Now Matt Crafton, the leader, has to hit pit road with just 5 to go.
Hey, Steve, this is chassis number 35, the exact same truck that went to victory lane at Texas. He stops on his mark. They plug in. 1, 2, almost 3 seconds for a fuel. Matt Crafton back to the track. He will exit the end of pit road. And Johnny Sauter is at the start-finish line.
Remember, Matt has to stay below the blend line, but you can go pretty fast down there, can't you, Brad?
Oh, this is going to be close. It's going to be really close. They're going to come on the pit road almost side by side right here.
Check that out.
He's 5 back. He's 1 back. He's going to look to your outside. You're racing him for the win right here. You're clear.
Wow.
Did Johnny get enough gas? That's the question now. Did he get enough gas, and can Matt draft off him and make a last lap slingshot pass?
Well,
He's going to have 3 to go this time at the line.
Matt's truck is just as strong as Johnny's. Earlier we talked about strategy. That certainly played out with people running out of gas and mistakes on pit road. And now these 2 trucks with just a splash at the end, their strategy is to position themselves to win this race. Who's in the right position? Is it Johnny or is it Matt?
Do they have enough gas to go 6 miles? That's the question.
That's 1.5 gallons is all that is. Looks like Matt closed in a couple truck lengths on Johnny Sauter right there. There's Jeff Hensley. First race on top of the pit box for Johnny Sauter.
We've talked about how important that draft is. That's the perfect distance right there for Matt Crafton to really start gaining on Johnny Sauter. He's got the draft right now. Can he drive up to him?
Let's look at his lap times this time by, Michael. Let's see if he's gaining.
Good battle for third right there. Ron Hornaday, Taylor Malsom. Teammates locked up in the battle for Turner Scott Motorsports.
Oh, man, this is drama.
Battle for the lead on your left.
It doesn't look like Crafton really gained on Sauter.
No.
As a matter of fact, it looks like he may have lost a little bit of ground. But we certainly have a great battle for third there, right side of your screen.
Malsom pulls up to the bumper.
They're coming down to get the white flag. It's going to be a battle between Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton.
One more time.
White flag, 2 miles left.
That means the next flag will end this thing. Will not be a green-white checker.
Johnny Sauter's got this baby in hand. Gets around the lap truck here.
I believe that's the 8 truck of Joe Nemechek right now. Joe's solidly up with a 10th place position here. Johnny's going to draft off him a little bit. Joe's going to move over, get Johnny to the outside. Crafton closes in, Steve.
Turn 4. Johnny Sauter looks like he's going to hang on, and he will take the checkered flag.
That's a statement win to get him to the points lead.
10th win in the Camping World Truck Series for Johnny Sauter.
And if you like speed, we've talked about speed for 2 days. You just watched the fastest race in the history of the series. You saw the fastest qualifying speed in the history of the series, and now the fastest race.
And how about Thor Sport Racing with a 1-2 finish?
Thank you, everybody.
And Jeff Hensley wins his first race
Good, don't it, bud?
on top of the pit box for Johnny Sauter.
Man, I just have liked Johnny Sauter since he got to Michigan. He's been confident and loving his truck and drives it to victory lane.
15 starts in between wins for Johnny Sauter's last win, Talladega last October.
Not only will he go to victory lane, he will emerge with a point lead today.
That's a good way to emerge.
Johnny Sauter with a 9-point lead over his teammate Matt Crafton. Let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Well, Jeff, a happy team. They were happy for Johnny, then happy for you. A lot of wins. Where does this one stack up for you, being that you just moved to this team this week?
It's huge. I mean, it really is. I mean, to get this opportunity with Thor Sports, I mean, it was a dream come true. And it was a good career move for me to come up here and work with these guys. Duke Thorson gives us everything we need. It's a great group of guys, and Johnny Sauter is a heck of a race car driver. So I want to thank everybody. And I mean, it's amazing. Maybe did we leave here with a point lead? That's a big thing.
Well, we'll check on the points, but yes, you do have the points lead headed out here unofficially, but a big win for Johnny Sauter, maybe even a little bit bigger for Jeff Hensley.
So the question was, Steve, does he have enough gas to make it to the finish?
Yes.
And then some.
And the burnout.
Then some to do a burnout.
That was a pretty righteous burnout, too. I love that.
And remember, that team is from Ohio. This is a home game for them.
We'll talk to Johnny Sauter when we come back to the Michigan International Speedway. Well, Johnny Sauter's truck was good to the last drop. He ran out of gas after doing the smoky burnout. Time now for our Ram Guts and Glory. And guys, this all played out on pit road.
Yeah, Junior Jonah left him out a couple more laps and said, no, we're going to have to stop. I'd love to gamble. We can't do it. A great pit stop by Matt, and they're going to come out on the racetrack, on the backstretch, dead even.
Johnny Sauter's momentum took him around the outside of Matt Crafton, but Johnny was able to drive away a bit from Matt. I mean, he distanced his gap for a couple laps on the last lap, though. Matt made a great run on Johnny, but it was Johnny Sauter having just enough gas to get to victory lane, or almost to victory lane.
Johnny Sauter, the 6th driver to win in this 2014 season. Let's go to victory lane and Hermie Sadler.
Johnny, you're in victory lane at Michigan. Ray Dunlap said before the race, you run well here, one thing after another, but you guys, new crew chief Jeff Hensley, pulled it off today. What were your thoughts on that last green flag pit stop?
I didn't really have a lot of thoughts, to be honest with you. I'm so proud of this team, everybody at Thor Sport on this Next-Gen Aerospace, Kurt Records, Toyota, everybody at Triad, TRD, everybody that makes this possible, Duke around to Thorson. Say hi to my wife and kids, but that last stop, I just knew that I had to get on pit road right, no mistakes. And I hit it right. When I got to the line, I was at 4,800 in second gear. I was like, dang, that's perfect, you know. And so proud of Jeff Hensley for coming over here. And this is just a great, great day. And I can't thank the good Lord, bless His mother enough.
After all you've been through this year, you win today, and you take the points lead. What kind of mentality does that give to you headed for the rest of the season?
Well, we're just now past halfway, so this is great. This is the momentum. This is the thing we needed to swing it, and just so proud of this team, these guys. I mean, we've had a good year, but not a great year, and we've been consistent, and we finally got speed this weekend. And I want to give a shout out to my Aunt Dell. She's struggling right now, so I want to say hi to her.
That's Johnny Sauter. He's the winner and the points leader. Ray?
Matt Crafton comes home second today after starting 14th. You pitted at lap 54, and I went over to your crew chief and said, don't tell me this is Texas again.
Yeah, like Texas, I mean, today I don't think we had the best Menard Toyota Tundra, but like I said, we were definitely a top 3, top 5 truck, I felt. But Texas, we definitely had the best Menard Toyota Tundra there. But like I said, all in all, not a bad day. It's a good day for Thor Sport. And like I said, these guys never gave up, because in practice, we blew a right rear tire like on lap 3 of practice. And we pretty much threw that whole first practice away working on the truck, trying to get that tire rub fixed. But all in all, not a bad day.
1-2 in the race, 1-2 in the points. What that say about Thor Sport Racing in 2014?
You tell me. 1 and 2, right? You can't get much better. I said we got 10 more to go. Like I said, I just keep looking back at Dover and St. Louis. It's honestly a lot of salt and a wound on those 2 races, because we were so fast and we blew tires, and right front tires in both of those races. So I just want those 2 back, but I'm sure a lot of other people wish they could have 2 back as well. But like I said, Junior and every one of these guys have brought fast race trucks each and every week.
It's like a home game. They're from Sandusky, Ohio. They're 1-2 in the race, 1-2 in the points. Good day for Thor Sport.
Race 6th, top 5 finish for Matt Crafton. He finishes behind his teammate Johnny Sauter, who continues to enjoy victory lane. Take a look at Johnny Sauter, his finishes at the Michigan International Speedway. We talked about it yesterday. He said this place owes me one.
Well, he got it. He got it right here today. And the Toyotas have pulled back into victory lane after Chevrolet won last week.
Points race keeps going, heating up.
One-two finish for Thor Sport Racing. Johnny Sauter the winner, Matt Crafton second. The careers for Veterans 200 in the books. Let's take a look at our updated point standings. Johnny Sauter with a 9-point lead over his teammate.
Man, it's heating up here. Look, Ron Hornaday, 4-time champion, only 19 points back. Bubba Wallace, who's been so fast this year, only 36 points back in 5th.
You know, you got to look all the way down, I think, to 7th or 8th before you say, you know, definitely Timothy Peters can get on a roll. He has the ability to win races. He's proven that. He could still be in this championship battle. We could be looking at 7 guys that have a chance to win this baby still.
Brad Keselowski has been with us for much of this race up in the booth. And Brad, you're a Michigan native. You know what it means to win at a home track.
Oh, absolutely. What a huge win for Thor Sport Racing. And, you know, look at these crew guys in victory lane and the excitement and energy. This is a moment that's going to live with this team and these team members for the rest of their lives. And, you know, that's so exciting to see. You've been to those moments, Michael, with your wins at Charlotte and Nashville. What a huge moment this is for that team, and you can just feel and see the energy and excitement.
Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Standing by with Ron Hornaday. His career best run at this track had been a 4th, and today you get a 3rd. You're right there in the points race. Looks like it's all pretty good. But I want to know, how did you get from 17th up to battle for the lead?
You guys did a great job in the pits. This Ream Comfort Product Chevrolet was fast all day. I caught Johnny that one time, and I lost the nose, and I about wrecked both of us. So I figured I'd just follow him and see what we can do. And then once I got somebody else in front of me, I couldn't run with him. So we were, once my teammate caught up there, we were a little bit faster. So we're pretty excited. I mean, I made a move on Johnny right there, and the nose, I lost it. So we made some great adjustments, but it's still a little too tight, and we'll work on it. I mean, I think earlier in the run when we were freer, I think we had something to beat him. But I got to thank Mr. Turner, Mr. Scott, everybody at Turner Scott Motorsports. This is a blast. I mean, everybody says you like this track, and when you have trucks like that, you love this track. So thanks Chevrolet, thanks Ream, thanks everybody. I mean, this is a lot of fun.
3rd place run today for Ron Hornaday. He's right there in the points race.
Well, Ray, Ryan Blaney making his way out of the garage. Disappointing day for you and your teammate. You had similar issues on the racetrack. Explain to us what happened.
Yeah, you know, we had a really fast Careers for Veterans Cooper Standard Ford. You know, we led the first part of that race, and I was a little bit tight, and I didn't really think nothing of it. You know, I just thought leading it would be a little bit tight because we knew back in traffic would be a little bit free. So I didn't really pay any mind to it, and you know, by about after that caution there, about lap 8. Started getting really tight after that, really tight. And started getting a pretty big vibration, and We come in the pits and the nose was splitting in half. So we had to repair that, and then we didn't get it good enough the first time, so we had to come back in and screw it together a little bit. So just unfortunate. You know, we had two pretty fast trucks. I thought both of us, me and Joey, were really good, and a shame. You know, I thought we were going to have a great showing in front of all the Cooper Standard people. They had about 2,500 employees in the stands. You know, it's a shame, but, you know, we had a fairly fast truck. We just got to figure out what happened.
That's Ryan Blaney. He loses the points lead, falls back to third, Ray.
Taylor Malsom had a career best run of 5th a couple of times in the Camping World Truck Series. You better that one today. You finished 4th. You and Hornaday had a pretty good battle. Looked to me like the Turner Scott trucks were pretty even.
Yeah, I was better at pushing, and he was better at having me push him. So it worked out good. If we had 10 more laps, I think we could have caught the leaders. But these Outerworld guys did a great job. We had a fast truck all weekend. I mean, it was wide open for 15 laps after that pit stop. So it was a lot of fun. Michigan's one of my favorite tracks just because of racing like that, and can't wait to come back next year.
You don't get to run every week, so how is the communication between you and crew chief Mike Hillman Jr. when you're on a sporadic basis?
It's good. I mean, he makes it so easy for me with these trucks being so good, and running sprint cars on every other week, and I still keep in driver shape and keep all my stuff smart. So it's easy, really. Hillman makes it easy for me.
All right, career best run today for Taylor Malsom. He finishes 4th.
All right, thanks very much. Appreciate that, Ray Dunlap, and we also appreciate Brad Keselowski stopping by to help us out in the booth. Thanks very much, Brad.
Thank you. What a great day, great race, and congratulations to Johnny Sauter, winner of the Careers for Veterans 200.
Good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you
we
very
appreciate
much.
it.
Can't wait to watch you run 215 miles an hour. It's something that means the world to me. I love fast cars.
Well, tomorrow, Fox Sports 1 is the place to turn for pre- and post-race coverage of the Sprint Cup Series Day at Michigan, beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern with the latest from the pits on NASCAR Race Day. Then catch NASCAR Victory Lane at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 for complete highlights, reaction, and analysis of the race. Back at Michigan International Speedway, Johnny Sauter celebrating his first win of 2014. He is your new points leader, 10th career win for Sauter. Herman Quiroga brought his Toyota home 6th. Hermie Sadler is with him.
Well, Steve and Herman, I got to say your crew chief came by here and said, this one's on me. I should have taken fuel only. I put 4 tires on it. So Butch Hilton says he made a mistake today, but you were still able to drive up and get a top 6 finish out of it.
Well, I really appreciate that from him. I mean, we are a team, and everybody can make a mistake, and that's fine. We ended up in a solid top 5. That's good for us. It's good for the points in the championships and for the championship, and that's what I wanted. I mean, the Toyota Tim Wireless truck was really fast today, so I'm glad for the guys. They work hard for that, and let's see how it goes in Bristol and Canada. It's our next 2 races, and I'm hoping to be in victory lane.
We do head to Bristol next Wednesday night right here on Fox Sports 1. How do you like that racetrack, and what do you think it'll take to win there?
Well, we were running 4th last year until coming to the green white checker. We ran out of field, so I'm pretty confident. I know we have fast trucks there. I know Timothy has one there with Butch, so I have a lot of confidence in my guys. So hopefully we can put everything together and make a big puzzle, and hopefully we can end up in victory lane.
That's Herman Quiroga. 4 tires on the last stop, got him back in traffic, but he comes home with a 6th place finish.
All right, thanks, Hermie. Yep, we're going to head to Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee, Wednesday. That's the rare Wednesday night race.
What an amazing racetrack, though, at Bristol Motor Speedway. You have 160,000 seats there. What a cathedral, and these guys put on an amazing show at Bristol.
Our last Wednesday night show was on the dirt at Eldora, and that certainly was one of the best of the year. I expect the same when we head to Bristol. Those high banks, pickup truck wrestling, as Schrader would call it.
4:30 qualifying here on Fox Sports 1, and of course we'll have the race for you as well. Johnny Sauter continues to celebrate the win. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from today's race.
Early in the going, Kyle Busch had started to run the high side, and he almost ran out of room. Sort of describes his day, though. Really fast truck, and not a whole lot to show for it. Great save, though.
Yeah, just said he got up in the loose stuff a little bit. There's Travis Quampa with such a strong Zaxby's Toyota. He loses an engine early on, battling for the lead.
Yeah, tough break for the former series champ. had a great truck. Austin Dillon as well. The hood went up for him early.
Felt like they were down a cylinder, thought it was a spark plug. They changed the spark plugs, and they end up 4 laps down in the 17th position.
And then, like I said, tough day for Kyle. Loose early, then he ran out of fuel and got behind, was never able to overcome it.
Cost him about 30 seconds for that situation there. He never was able to overcome that. There's Joey Logano. You see the front end splitting right there. The 2-piece nose. Same thing happened to his teammate, Ryan Blaney. Amazing.
And his teammate, Ryan Blaney, came in here on the pole, started on the pole, came in as the point leader and had trouble. You saw Kyle Busch run out earlier. This is his teammate, Bubba Wallace, running low on fuel as well.
Bubba Wallace led 3 times for 48 laps. A lot of trouble getting that thing refired.
Yeah, yet again, the guy that leads the most laps does not get to victory lane here. But Johnny Sauter was strong all day long, all weekend, really, and he takes it to victory lane.
Very confident Johnny Sauter ever since he got in that number 98 truck this weekend. It was fun to watch him come to victory lane.
Joe Nemechek with a top 10 run. We go to Ray Dunlap.
Yeah, that 8 truck's been fast all year. They finished 3rd at Texas in this very same truck. But today, Joe, a top 10, but it was an adventure getting there. Tell us about it.
I tell you what, it was more than an adventure trying to drive that thing. We just missed it today. We found a couple things wrong after practice yesterday, and we had to guess at a lot of stuff, and the track just seemed to be extremely loose for me today. I just hate it for SWM Toyota Tundra, but we beat them on gas mileage. We get really great gas mileage. I got to thank the guys at Triad Engine Shop. Kyle Busch Motorsport is one of their chassis. All that stuff is good. We just missed the setup by a tick. And when you miss it that far, you have to get good gas mileage, or else you're going to be in really bad shape. But we did that, got a top 10 finish, and John Hunter's racing at Bristol, so looking forward to that.
All right, it's a school night, but the boy is going to be back behind the wheel.
All right, thanks very much, Ray. So Johnny Sauter enjoying his first win of this 2014 season.
What a crazy race, though. We talked about all the speed. It came down to sheer speed, and we had the fastest race in the history of the Truck Series.
At over 161-mile-an-hour average for 200 miles.
Crank your engine in a truck, you better be ready for a battle, a fast battle here in Michigan.
We're going to go from the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway to the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway on Wednesday night. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you then.